Good evening, or I imagine not so good evening for most of you who are watching, listening, or whatever you are doing to consume this show. Gabe DeArmond here on another edition of the Yuengling postgame show on the PowerMizzou.com podcast after a 34-0 loss to Alabama that frankly didn't really feel that close. Guys, it's like this is going to be a grief session for everybody. I think we're going to get to your comments, your questions, your voicemails, all of that. Jarod Hamilton will join us from Tuscaloosa. He's in post-game interviews right now. I'm going to give you my kind of post-mortem on the game and sadly the season because it looks, no pun intended, cooked at this point in time. This is the Yuengling post-game show brought to you, fittingly enough, by Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. We encourage you guys to grab one or 6 or 18 or however many it takes you to get through talking about this one. Lager up. Enjoy responsibly. We don't want you driving anywhere during this show. If you are, we ask that you wait on the Yuengling until you get home, but it is going to take some Yuengling to get through this one. Again, Missouri, a 34-0 loser to Alabama. They are 6-2 and 2-2 in the SEC. And I don't want to say the rest of the season doesn't matter, but the goals that you had, the goals that they had, they're gone. They're done. We have discussed the college football playoff for the last time with this football team. It is out of the question. It is not going to happen. They are not a playoff team. It's over, guys. Like we can talk about that if that's what you guys want to talk about, but there's no point. So what I'm going to do here is rather than like just kind of spew a bunch of stuff, I want to say one thing actually before we start this. And I wrote this as part of our instant reaction. I'm just going to read it to you guys. Because I think you'll all identify with this here. I said, I legitimately feel bad for those of you reading this. I know what it's like to be a Missouri fan because I grew up a Missouri fan. It's not easy. I saw the baseball team I cheer for win a World Series when I was 9, and then went through 30 years of my football, baseball, and college teams basically winning nothing of consequence. There were division titles and even a few conference titles in basketball and fun seasons, but there were no championships and not even a chance to play for a championship. And you kept telling yourself, man, if we ever get there, it's going to feel so good. And then my baseball team did it, and it was amazing. And then my football team did it, and that was amazing too. You are still waiting. 30 years since the last conference championship in either sport people pay attention to. Never a Final Four, never a national title game appearance. You got teased a couple times, but it didn't happen. And then the 12-team playoff happened. And in a year where you had so much talent coming back and so much momentum in this swashbuckling coach who said whatever he wanted to say, and they rewrote state laws, and the donors poured millions of dollars into it, and this was the year. And now it's not the year. I fought against the Mizzou curse and all that stuff for a long time. I don't believe in it. But what I do believe in is that so many of you have poured so much time and money and emotion into this, and you've simply never been paid back. You'll keep doing it because you don't just turn fandom off. It doesn't work that way. But I legitimately feel bad for all of you. You deserve to get something back for all of it. And it really felt like this was going to be the year it happened, and now it's not. My sympathy won't make you feel any better, but it does exist. And that's I was texting with some friends today, and that's who I feel bad for. The people who went to College Station, who went to Tuscaloosa, who have poured their money into this, who have spent 30 years hoping maybe this is the year, who watched Woody's Wagon and Bob Stoll and all of that and waded through all of the crap to get to this year. And it seemed like this was going to be your year. And like maybe that's our fault a little bit for believing it, for buying in. But they felt like this was the year. They put everything on this year. And this year is at best, and you've got to really squint to see this, at best like 10-2 in the Citrus or the Gator Bowl, which is fine. That'd be a nice year in any other year. It's disappointing this year. Realistically, what this looks more like to me is 7-5, maybe 8-4. Guys, today was so bad. And I'm not sure how it gets better. because I'm honestly not sure you have the quarterback at this point. And a lot of things. We'll talk about them. I'm just going to go through some of your comments. Jarod, when he's done with postgame, we'll jump on here. We'll hit the voicemail line. We'll be here. I don't know what to expect, guys. I feel like everybody might have given up in the second quarter. So we may not have a big crowd. This may last 45 minutes. This may last 3 hours, whatever. I got time. I got a column to write eventually, but we'll hang out here and do this. So Sir Smokes a Lot says nasty wideouts. Ain't seen nothing nasty about this group all year except they play. I don't know. Rather go watch. Okay, some things I can't say on YouTube, but I agree with the overall point. This receiving core talked about wanting to be the best in the country. Guys, they're not even good. I mean, yes, the quarterback play's been bad. I'm not going to dispute that. Brady Cook was beat up today. Drew Pine is not a Division I quarterback. All of those things are true. But you know what you need when you have quarterback play that's struggling? Maybe a receiver that makes a play at some point. I mean, these guys, they don't get open. Like, Missouri took a couple deep shots on a drive they started about midfield. One to Marquise Johnson, one to Luther Burden. Neither guy was anywhere close to open. They were covered. This receiving core went, if Theo Weiss wore a blanket to the Texas A&M game and they got blanketed by the guy. I mean, they don't they don't get open and they don't make plays. Now, that is not singling them out. Everything on this offense is bad. It's all broken. But the receiving core doesn't get exempted from that. You don't get to start the season talking about Biletnikoff Awards and Heisman's and have 3 catches for 3 yards. Like, Ryan Williams took a couple things and made something out of nothing today. Luther Burden didn't. Theo Weiss had 2 catches for 19 yards, and he was the best wide receiver on the team today. And again, the quarterback play deserves blame for that. The play calling deserves blame for that. There's a lot of things that go into it, but that receiving core is not doing anything to help. Sean Kurtz, how about Drew Pine? He probably couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Look, sorry, I've spent a lot of time doing this, trying not to pile on kids, right? But things are a little bit different now. This is professional sports. It just is. I don't care what anybody says. They get paid to play football. That's the point. And that was awful. I mean, the interception, and again, the first interception I'm talking about, I'll be honest, guys, I didn't pay much attention to the last quarter and a half. I was writing, trying to get stuff done. The first interception in the second quarter, Luther Burden goes down the middle. He is not open. Again, completely covered. You're not going to complete that pass. But I don't even know where Drew Pine thought he was throwing the football. I mean, that pass was 5 yards from Luther Burden directly into the gut of an Alabama receiver. And that's when this game ended. At that point, it was 6-0. And Johnny Walker and this defense was playing its absolute ass off and trying to keep the team in the game. And that interception, which then led to a touchdown, made it 13-0. And 13 seemed like 90 with this offense. And then he threw 2 more and a million incompletions. Missouri for the game, 13 of 24 for 72 yards. That is 3 yards an attempt. Brady Cook, 7 of 12 for 30 yards, passer rating of 79.3. Drew Pine, 6 of 12, 42 yards, 3 interceptions, a 29.4 quarterback rating. And that leads to this. Yes, your quarterback was beat up. Took a hell of an effort just to get on the field, and then he hurt his hand. I don't know the extent of it. I don't think we're going to know the extent of it. Eli Drinkwitz is going to tell us to wait for the injury report, and then we're going to watch Pete Thamel tweet information that this is how this works. So his hand is hurt. He leaves the field with 4.5 minutes left in the first half. And look, what we saw after that was the complete and total failure in the quarterback room for 5 years. I mean, I'm going to write about this on Monday. I'll go back through it. But bottom line, they had Connor Bazelak. And he had a good first year, had kind of a bad second year, wanted to leave. They were fine with him leaving, started Brady Cook in the bowl game in 2022 in Fort Worth. Brady was okay. They got beat, whatever. Tried to get a transfer, didn't get a transfer, signed Sam Horn, looked good at the time. Went into the 2022 season, and Brady was okay, 6-7. Drinkwitz went out and offered every quarterback who had ever thrown a football before, and none of them came. And so Brady Cook was his starter for 2023. And before we get into the fact that Brady proved everybody wrong, he also proved his head coach wrong. The head coach who has yelled at you guys and been angry at you guys for not having faith in the kid. Don't forget that 2 seasons ago, he tried to find anybody he could to be his starter except Brady Cook. And he couldn't find anybody, and Brady Cook won the job. And then he went out and he won 11 football games. And excellent job. Great story. But SEC quarterbacks get hurt. That happens, right? And so the backups on this team, well, Jake Garcia was here and then he left. And for anybody that said Jake Garcia left, he threw 12 interceptions at East Carolina in 5 games and got benched. Jabari Johnson is not the starting quarterback at Oregon State. I saw Jabari Johnson play in practice. He was not going to be the starting quarterback at Missouri. Sam Horn played a little bit last year, pretty clearly wasn't ready, got beaten out by Brady Cook, hurt his elbow, could have played football, but chose to have surgery. Could have been healthy and been the backup quarterback on this team. Chose to have surgery, which would allow him to, come back and pitch and all that. And that is completely Sam Horn's. Like, I'm not saying a bad thing about Sam Horn there. That is his choice. Without baseball being a part of the equation, he's probably not at Missouri. If baseball was always the thing that was a little more important to him, that is fine. Eli Drinkwitz probably knew that. So you go out and you get a kid that was going to go back to Notre Dame and I think play lacrosse. Maybe that was Tyler Buckner. I might get him. But Drew Pine was just going to be a student. He wasn't going to be the quarterback. So they went and got him. But whatever. Hey, you need a body. That's fine. But when your starter gets hurt and all you've got is a body, what you see is what we saw last week and today. It's not functional, guys. I don't know if Missouri can score. If Brady Cook is done for the year, 6-6 is in play because I don't know if Missouri can score on offense. That's where we're at. And look, Eli Drinkwitz has overall done a very good job here. I have said over and over, he can go 4-8 this year, and his job is not in jeopardy. And I'm not trying to fire anybody. But the quarterback thing is a problem. And Brady's going to be gone after this year. Whether we've seen him play his last game or not, I don't know at this point. But this is going to be his last season. And I don't know who your quarterback is next year. It can't be Drew Pine. We've seen that. It cannot be Drew Pine. I guess it could be Sam Horn, 3 years removed from playing a football game. I guess it could be true freshman Matt Zollers coming off a broken leg. Or you can go in the portal and take your chances. But here's the bad news about going in the portal, guys. Portal quarterbacks in year one generally aren't great. I mean, next year is what makes this year hurt is that next year it's hard to see us talking about the things we were talking about this year. They can win 7-8 games. They can be a solid team, all that. It is hard for me to envision a scenario where we're talking playoff and all these things next year. Especially, look, if they don't get a quarterback, then at the end of next year, then we are having different conversations, but we're a long way from that. So let's keep going. Boyd Lockhart, Kirby Moore needs to go. Again, the coaching, the play call, everything on offense is broken. And the offensive coordinator is 100% part of that. I'm not going to say he isn't. But this was the guy who a year ago was getting head coaching interviews who Missouri fans were terrified to lose. And I'll say this, the first 2 series today, like second play of the game, they run a flea flicker. Now, it absolutely didn't work. But what have you been asking for all year? Be aggressive. Take some shots. Let me see something. Well, they tried. It blew up in their faces. Whatever. And so then after that drive, it was, why don't we run the football? Well, the next drive, they run the football twice, and then they go 3 and out again. The plays didn't work. That doesn't mean they're awful play calls. The flea flicker fooled no one. If that works, if that tricks the linebacker, and Brady has a deep shot or a 30-yard gain and Missouri goes and scores and they're up 7-0, Kirby Moore's a genius and everybody loves him. Play calling to me is a crutch. they call plays will work if the guys do their job every time. And sometimes the defense makes a better play. Sometimes the defense has better players. And I'm not saying the play calling has been amazing. I've criticized them for not getting the ball to Luther Moore, all that. But the first play of the game, what do? They throw lateral to Luther Burden. Just get the football in his hands. He got a yard. Second play, flea flicker, blows up the drive. Next drive, okay, let's run the football. Did that twice, 3 yards, nothing. Turn the ball back on downs. So, yeah, Kirby Moore is not winning any awards this year, no question. But just blaming it on the play calling takes way too much off of the players, in my opinion. It's just, the guys on the field at some point have to be responsible for it. And Andy Speller wanted to talk about the play calling again. Drink set us up to fail. It's real easy to blame coaches. And again, the coaches did not have a good day, I'm sure. I mean, you can't lose 34-0 and have a good day, right? But like every loss isn't just getting out coached. They got outplayed too, guys. They played 2 real teams this year, or 2 good teams. Well, Vandy's a good team, I guess, but whatever. 2 playoff caliber teams. The total score is 75-10, and neither one of them was that close. Jordan Eli Drinkwitz's salary is $9 million in 2024. Graduate transfer mental midget Drew Pine was forced to repay all NIL money as the game ended. Yeah, it was a bad day. Bad day for everybody. Drinkwitz and Pine and Burden, and I think Connor Tollison got hurt. Brady Cook got hurt. All bad, no question. Scott Harrelson's asking how you leave voice messages for the show. I should have put this up earlier. Here you go. Leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/PowerMizzou. Just go to that link, click it, talk into your phone, your tablet, whatever it might be. Tell us what you want to tell us. We're going to continue going through the comments. We will get to voicemails soon enough. We'll get to Jarod Hamilton as well. Let's see. Still wanting to go through the chat. If Cook is out for any time, we won't win any more games. I think that's entirely possible. Legitimately one of the worst offensive performances I've seen from a Missouri football team. Look, legitimately one of the worst offensive performances I've seen from a football team. Like, just take Missouri out of that. That was a dreadful offensive performance. The final numbers, 239 total yards. They ran for $167. Honestly, most of them that just came at the end when, Alabama didn't try till they got inside the 5-yard line. 3 for 13 on third down, 3.8 yards a play, 5.5 per completion. Here's the most stunning stat: 3 yards per passing attempt. They actually averaged 4.3 yards per rushing attempt. So they were better running the football than they were throwing the football, an extra 1.3 yards per play. So we've got Jarod Hamilton in the press box now. Jarod, give me a thumbs up if we're good to bring you on the show. All right. So you are in the press box with Brian Denny. First of all, just kind of fill us in. What did Eli Drinkwitz say, or did Eli Drinkwitz?
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, what did Eli Drinkwitz say after the game?
To be honest, I told Callum basically he must have watched this game after the first quarter. Like, he had a good mood about him. He just answered stuff. He wasn't like overly upset. It seemed like he flushed this game away a long time ago until we started getting to the injury report at the end. He said with Brady Cook, they gave him a X-ray and they just didn't feel good about it. He did say that the second drive of the game is when he got hurt. He didn't label the body part, but I'm pretty sure we at this point figure it's
hand or wrist. Yeah.
I asked him about Mookie Cooper or whatever, and that's what felt like got him a little pissy at the end. Is as far as like, why was he not available? And he was just like, the availability report said he was out, so that's it. Talking with another team spokesperson, they don't. Preliminary discussions are whatever Cook's injury is doesn't seem season ending. They didn't necessarily say that part. I said that part, and it was just like, your words, not mine. But they're going to go back to Missouri, figure out exactly what's going on, what's wrong, and they'll go from there. But the press conference, again, was less than 5 minutes, wasn't terribly long. His answers were still short. He just wasn't like really upset about it. He said he was proud of the defense for how they played. You could tell he kind of got annoyed though every time he would say something about the defense because it was just like can't give away the ball 3 times. Can't have this bad field position for the defense who was playing really well. You can't keep putting them in that position and then not having sustaining drives so they're on the field all the time. So
right. Yeah, I mean, the defense was fine. Like, I don't blame the defense for anything today. Cool, they gave up some points and yards in the second half. That game was over at 13-0. When Drew Pine threw his first pick, that game was over.
Writing my story, there is something I looked up. So before Cook, I literally seen him go to the locker room. I think Missouri had given up it was like 90-something yards. And when Cook was going off the field, Alabama was driving, and that's when they settled for their last field goal. They settled for 3, and it was 6-0. After that, though, I don't know if I was going to say the air kind of went out of the defense, but that's not true. Pine went in the game and started throwing the interceptions, and they gave up over 400 yards after that. So before Cook, even Cook with just one leg and kind of his hand, kind of kept him in the game because he wasn't throwing turnovers. He wasn't like giving the ball away kind of thing. And so once they got the bad field position and Pine was in the game, everything just got twice as hard.
And I said at halftime, I think we learned a little bit of the value of Brady Cook because, the one thing he didn't do, he didn't beat you. He didn't give the ball away and beat you.
Exactly.
And he may not have been the reason you won, but he wasn't the reason you lost. Drew Pine came in and was the reason they lost. I mean, I don't know any different way to put it.
Yeah, it was.
They were going to lose anyway. Don't get me wrong.
They were going to lose, but yeah, it was still a 1-possession game. Alabama was struggling, and then I will say for the defense, it was a lot of bend not break early on. Right around that time that Pine came in, let me see. I'm trying to think if it's after the interception or. There was a point in the game where I texted you. They're targeting Chuck Hicks in zone coverage. They're picking apart that zone, and so Jalen Milroe started to find his groove, his rhythm, or whatever. And yeah, they were just kind of making those plays. But the defense played well until it was on the field. It felt like every 2 or 3 plays, just because of the turnovers and not sustaining any drives.
So quarterback play obviously bad. Everything on this offense is bad. The only thing that I would say doesn't get a D- or worse today is Jamal Roberts. I was actually encouraged by watching him. Yeah. Other than that, everything else was horrid.
Drink was pretty proud of Roberts and Carroll. Let me go look up. So Carroll 17 for 80, Roberts 17 for 71. Obviously, his best day as a Tiger statistically. There was something else.
A lot of that came late when it didn't matter. But
of course, but you still got to make the plays, right? You just got to have something. We did talk to Drew Pine, and so what was interesting about that is, so with Drew, he didn't look rattled, to be honest. It was maybe about 2 or 3 minutes. We asked him the question.
25 years old.
Well, listen, there were. Think about it. When Nate people had the fumble at Auburn, did we get him? I'm pretty sure. Was he not a senior or something?
No.
Like that? We don't.
If Brady Cook had that game, we wouldn't get Brady Cook.
I don't know. I'd say the administration is turning some things around as far as just if you have a tough day or you make a play wrong, you gotta talk, or at least they're going to ask to see if they're allowed to talk. And so with Drew, he basically was just pretty much it was a bad game. I know I didn't have a good game. But there's 1 or 2 ways I could go about this. I could either run away and hide and not take up for my actions and not get better, or I can do the opposite. I can stand here, answer y'all questions, and hit the books and stuff like that, and prepare over the bye week to get better if my number is called. And so at least with that, I was just
oh, I respect that.
Yeah, I can respect that. You it was bad. You're not gonna BS around it, and you're not going to make any excuses, and you're just going to say, I'm going to get to work. So, it wasn't too much outside of that, but that's what he said. And then we also had Johnny Walker, and I guess I left out one nugget. So Drink and Johnny Walker basically kind of said, defense played well, but we just got to get healthy over the bye week. That's what one of Drink's first things was we just got to get healthy over the bye week, and that's why I feel like he kind of flushed it. It seems like in a way he's just this game doesn't count all the way in a sense because – quarterback was hurt on the
I mean,
second drive of the game, and then you didn't really have a chance after. And it seems like he knew that.
I get it, but that to me seems like a disservice to the fan base that was all in on this thing. And like to pretend now that this program wasn't kind of all in for a big run this year, that's disingenuous to me. I mean, I get it. Hey, it's whatever. Pissing and moaning and getting angry and swearing isn't going to change it at 34-0, right? The game still happens. So I get it. You burn it and you move on. But also, like, I don't think you can just diminish this and wash it away and say, yeah, everybody was hurt. That's the way it goes.
Well, somebody asked him, like last week, he said on the other side of last week's game is everything is still in front of him. Somebody asked, so what's after this week's game? What's in front of you? He said there's still 4 SEC games
the
left.
Gator Bowl.
There's still 4 SEC games left and a chance to get double-digit wins. And, then the next things are usually like, with the way college football is going and all this stuff, anything's possible. Not with the schedule they've got, to be honest.
No, it's not possible.
And winning 10 games is not going to be an easy thing to do just because they don't have a ranked opponent left on the schedule. So that was it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I'm done talking about the playoff. That's over. Like, if at Missouri you can go 9-3 or 10-2, that's not nobody can say that's a bad year. But how do you go 9-3 or 10-2 when I legitimately don't know if you can score? Like, I don't know if they can score on offense.
Nah, the offense was very anemic, and like you said about with Brady, doesn't give the game away, but having him out there. I think they had 52 total yards on offense. The thing is, he hurt his – well, I'm the one saying that this is not official, but it looks like he hurt his hand second drive of the game. He played 3 more drives and had 9 pass attempts in those drives. So it's not like he wasn't using it. They weren't doing anything. They can't – I don't know. It's a mix of things. Wide receivers are not getting open. We've been saying this all year. They don't get open. Yeah. Whenever Cook gets out of the pocket – they don't do anything. They stand there. Like, my thing is, it's week 9. If he's always going to leave the pocket because the offensive line isn't doing well, how about after my route, I try to make something shake? Yeah, 3 catches for 3 yards for Luther Burden. And weren't they – how many of them were – it felt like they were jet sweeps.
Well, he had 2 he had 2 carries for 15 yards. So he had 5 total touches for 18 yards.
There was one, I feel like there was a pop pass, but I guess they're counting them all as handoff. So, okay. But, yeah, that's not going to cut it. There was a lot bad in this.
Well, I mean, Theo Weiss was the leading wide receiver. He had 2 catches for 19 yards. The leading receiver overall was Brett Norfleet with 3 for 23. Like, we can focus on the quarterback play, but the receivers are bad and the line's not any good either.
Well, we've known about that line. And to be honest, I don't feel like this line. It wasn't a worse day for the line than at Texas A&M.
No, it wasn't. But it wasn't good.
Oh no, which is terrible that we're just saying like, at least it wasn't week 6. But yeah, pretty not great. Let me ask you about the flea flicker, the first drive, because I still think, what are we doing? And I'm saying that because your offensive line is not great in pass pro. A flea flicker is used to – those are long developing plays. Why are you doing that with an immobile quarterback in a line that you're not really sure of? I don't get – that didn't make sense.
I get it. The problem with that play, and like we talked about this before you came on, if that play works – let's say they get a 30-yard completion out of that play. Everybody's going, oh, my God, Eli Drinkwitz and Kirby Moore have huge balls, and this is amazing, and I love it. It didn't work, so it's a terrible call. The problem with that play, and they showed it, and again, this is the difference between watching on TV and you're there. The problem with that play is the linebacker just, he never even looked at Marcus Carroll. He just headed for Brady Cook the entire time. It was like the handoff didn't even happen. And so I don't know if that's on Carroll that he didn't sell it well enough, or if the linebacker just saw something that he knew, like, hey, this is what they're doing. But I mean, he was untouched straight up the middle because by the time Carroll pitched the ball, the linebacker was already by him. So it wasn't like Carroll could pitch the ball and then pick him up. the dude was already by him, and the ball got to Brady, and he had nowhere to go with it. I mean, look, I said coming into this game, I wanted to see Missouri play not afraid to get blown out, right? Like, go out there and let them hang a little bit, right? And take some chances and go try to win the football game. And that felt like, hey, we're trying to win the football game. I mean, Drinkwood said before the game, hey, we're gonna let it all go. We're gonna let it hang out today. You know, some version of that. That's not exactly, but. And then that play happened, and it was like they just said, and like I said, so after that drive, everybody's saying, why are we doing that? Run the football. Well, the next drive, you know what they did? They handed it off twice, and they got 3 yards, and then they threw it out again. Like, nothing worked, man. I don't know what you call when nothing works.
No, I get that, but running the ball is the best success they had all day. Like,
right, but they didn't have success doing it until, like,
yeah, I mean,
it didn't matter.
Well, my thing is, when it didn't matter, they couldn't pass the ball. It actually got worse. You would think it'd get better. So at least there was something to it.
Hindsight being 2020, yeah, maybe you come out and run the football 3 times for sure. But when you can't block, your quarterback can't move, and your receivers don't get open or make plays, like, yeah. I mean, if I'm defending Missouri the rest of the season, I'm going one-on-one with every receiver, and I'm just putting 8 guys in the box. I'm saying, you're not handing the football off. Like, whatever you're going to do, you're not going to beat us by handing the football off.
Excuse me. Caden Green getting replaced by Mitchell Waters. I knew it when we talked to Drake the last time, and we asked if, like,
did that happen the whole game? Like, was Walters in there the entire game?
Yeah. Okay. Like, I don't know if he started, though, but it was the second or third drive where it's just like, oh, there's Mitch. It was definitely in the first quarter. And so I knew when we asked, are we going to see more Mitch Walters? I took that as, Caden, you are on a short leash, buddy. Apparently a really short leash. So I don't know if this is Mitch Walters' like job now, but whatever Caden Green, the leash he had, it's almost to the end if it's not already.
I agree. But, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say Caden Green's been good. I have no idea. I don't know that he's the problem with this team. The rest of the line's not all that good either. Like, even there were a couple of plays today where, like on one of the on the second play where Brady Cook hit his hand on a helmet, it was on Armand Mimbo's helmet because Mimbo got shoved into his lap. So, like, just not giving up a pressure or not giving up a sack. No, I'm 100% serious. He followed through and he hit Mimbo's helmet with his right arm because Mimbo was like 2 feet in front of him.
Do you remember the play? Was it a third down play? Was he rolling to the right?
I don't think he was really rolling, but he was looking to throw right. It was kind of a throw toward the sideline. And yeah, he followed through and hit his hand on Mimbo's helmet.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Because I didn't see the play. I can't remember it.
Point being, there's not a single player on this offense who I would say is playing well this season.
The one who was, I guess you could, he's been out largely.
Nate Noel was, yeah, but he's missed 3 games.
Pretty much. So, so y'all started talking about the ReliaQuest Citrus or whatever bowl is after this?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh no, I know the CFP don't matter. So I'm just saying, what's the next? Are you already looking at the next ones?
I think we've got to find out if Brady Cook comes back and if they're capable of scoring a touchdown. Because, like, I'm not kidding. If he's done, 6-6 is in play.
Absolutely. They're lucky. Now, when you think about it in hindsight, good thing you won that 6th game at Auburn or versus Auburn.
Yeah.
Because,
you could be looking at 5-7.
Yeah, Drew, it didn't look good. None of the interceptions looked good. That first one was kind of mind-blowing. The second one, it just felt like Alabama was toying with them. The fact that it felt like the safety knew all along what was happening. Like, I seen the one-on-one, it was just like, oh, okay, well. And then the third one, I couldn't really see it because it was the opposite side of the field for me. And was that a diving interception that the person made?
I honestly kind of had quit paying attention by then.
Okay.
I was writing post-game stuff.
I knew it was along the sideline. So just, what was it, 6 of 12 for 42 yards and 3 picks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a game you flush.
But, like, I mean, last week, the only difference last week was he didn't throw it to the other team, but They don't have an offense with him in the game. They don't run an offense.
No. There's not really a plan. There was the fact that J.R. Blood came in for one series, and then they was just like, not this one. Let's put Drew back in. That's also reflecting of not having a plan. Crazy.
It's bad, man. It's bad, no question. I mean, like, I don't really know what else there is to say after a game like this. It was horrendous.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm thinking for myself personally, stories like, well, everything was short. There wasn't too many memorable quotes besides gotta get healthy.
Here's a good point by Brandon Foster. Marcus Freeman went 9-4 with Drew Pine as his starting quarterback.
I thought he was 10-2.
Maybe Marcus Freeman, pretty decent coach.
Probably had a decent defense and some help around him.
But like, this team has a decent defense and supposedly really good receivers. I said supposedly.
Yeah, not looking too great on that front. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I think it's that in play calling. I don't know. In this type of offense, the point of basically the spread is
what plays do you call that work? Like, what plays would you call if you're coaching this football team?
Well, see, every time I say that,
what do they do well?
Well, I was about to say every time I say one, we went from receivers to coaching. I was about to say, well, the coaching's probably thinking, well, if the offensive line can't block, right, there's nothing to throw. There's no way to scheme them open in the plays that would usually work.
And when the only thing you can do that works is a handoff up the middle, like, that's going to stop working when it's the only thing you can do that works.
Yeah, there's Bill said like halfback draw. So let's think halfback draw, probably a halfback screen that they hate throwing or never throw, maybe a tight end screen. Can't really get no slants or nothing going. Your offensive line isn't holding up for that. Can't get no deep crossers going. Yeah. Tough.
Yeah.
That streak is going to end, by the way. The ranked streak, that's done.
Oh, yeah, they're not ranked. And they won't be ranked, I don't think, the rest of the year.
Yeah.
There's just nothing. I mean, if enough teams lose and you keep winning, you'll get back in at 9-3, but.
Yeah, but no. And it's crazy because the games versus, was it South Carolina, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, and Arkansas, it's to the point from those should be easy wins to if they win those games, it's kind of going to be like, wow, that's a good win for them.
It was it's hard to be anything other than overly negative here after that one, because like the disappointing thing is I'll finish you up with this and then let you go right. Like I put it in part of my instant reaction. The too long did not read version of my instant reaction is Dennis Green going, they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Like, Missouri fans spent the entire summer angry about, no, our schedule's fine, and why aren't we ready to hear, and why did they think they're exactly who the outside people said they were. And like, look, I was wrong. I thought they were a 10-win team. We at one point thought they were 11-1 team. Like, completely wrong on that. They're exactly who all the people who, the doubters or the haters or whatever, they were exactly right. That's who this team is.
I'll just say, was it the committee or whoever put out not the committee, but the AP poll and stuff there. I'll just say they're one for two, because they put Florida State in the top 10. They thought they was going to do something crazy. So right. I won't give them too much credit, but yeah, Missouri.
But they were right about Missouri. I mean, they were wrong about Missouri because they were ranked 11th in the preseason, but like it was 3 months of how come nobody respects us. Well, they were right not to. You've earned nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They get that's their point. But dang, that's crazy. Well, I'm gonna start looking at the Pop-Tarts Bowl, the Cheez-Its Bowl, whatever.
I wish they could play in the Pop-Tart Bowl. I don't think that's an SEC bowl. I would actually cover the Pop-Tart Bowl. I would love some frosted brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts for my media gift. I'd be down.
Yeah. I think earlier I looked up citrus, Maybe the Gator Bowl. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Military Bowl or something.
Relia Quest,
Yeah,
Birmingham,
there's
Music
6.
City. They're
Yeah.
all the same, man. You know what? I'm rooting for the cheapest. I'm rooting for the one you can drive to. That's what I'm
No, no, no.
rooting for. That's where I'm going.
That's probably Nashville. Yeah, and
Warm up, get those car keys out and drive your happy ass down to Nashville for a bowl game.
well, well, at least with Nashville, I can enjoy that. I'll do something with that. But
all right, man. Well, we'll let you get to it. We're gonna have post game video and a column. Jarod's gonna get to writing in Tuscaloosa. He's got to drive back to Birmingham and fly back tomorrow. So enjoy, man. Go make chicken salad out of whatever that was.
One more thing. If I'm gonna have this terrible travel, they could have at least tried a little bit harder. Came all the way down here, gonna miss all the games tomorrow for them to be doing
again.
This.
All I'm going to say is you were the only person on the beat I know who didn't either have to drive or spend the night in the airport. You won the travel weekend. Even if it was bad, you won the travel weekend.
I won the first parts. It's a 2-part thing. Let's see how tomorrow goes when they all leaving early. I see I lose that. That's the L I'm guaranteed.
All right. Well, enjoy it.
I'll see y'all later.
Talk to you. Have a good one. Jarod Hamilton live from Tuscaloosa. Sounds like the post game was, I don't know, I guess, hey, it was awful and moved past it. And I understand that part of it. The injury stuff, I'm just kind of done with, guys. I'll just, whatever. They're going to, Pete Thamel will tell us who's hurt and how bad and when they're hurt, and we'll deal with it then. So, Sean, let's start up the voicemails, man. Let's go to that, and we'll just start firing them off. And I know we've got quite a few of them, so just play them, and we'll keep going.
Gabe, what are the chances that Mizzou mails it into an 8-4 type season? It seems like after this, every hope they had before the season is gone. So it feels like 8-4 maybe is fine, but it's not anything anyone hoped for. I wouldn't be surprised if Luther Burden opts out a couple games before the end of the season.
Yeah, so 8-4. Look, honestly, at this point, I think 8-4 is kind of optimistic. I mean, what I've seen out of this team, South Carolina is better. I think Arkansas might be better. Oklahoma's terrible. Like Oklahoma and Missouri might be 4-3. Mississippi State, I don't know. They're playing better than Missouri. I don't know what the final was today. I think they kind of got blown out by Arkansas, but they can at least score points. They can't stop anybody. That'll be the movable force and the resistible object. Mississippi State's defense against Missouri's offense. 8-4 honestly seems optimistic to me. As far as Luther, look, guys, I get the question. I do. I'm not going to single out any kid. If that's a decision he ends up making, okay. But I think that's unfair of me to say. I think you have to be aware of the possibility that there could be opt-outs, things like that. I think that's true of a lot of teams across college football. I'm not going to single out one specific kid. I don't think that's fair of me to do, because I don't know that, like, Luther's reaction to that might be, what the hell are you talking about? I would never even think about that. I don't know. So I don't want to do that on one specific kid. All right, let's go, Sean, to the next one.
Gabe, beginning of the second quarter, and I'm just wondering at this point, I know there's plenty of season play still, but looking at Drew Pine, he was the heir apparent to the starting quarterback position, but man, we got to rethink that. So what do you think about the quarterback position for next season? Peace out.
I mean, I guess you've probably got to go into the portal, but again, I just think, and I don't want to depress everybody, but I think next year, like always, was kind of an 8-4 type year, and get it to hope Matt Zollers is the guy that you think he is. But I don't think you can count on that in year one. You can't ask a true freshman to come in here and be better than that. So I guess you're probably going portal. I've seen some questions in the chat about Aiden Glover. Sure, give him a shot. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really seen or heard anything that indicate to me that he's the guy, but yeah, throw him in the mix. I mean, you're going to have a wide open competition, no question. All right, let's go.
I'm just confused on what the heck we're doing that final drive in the first half. why did we take like 90 seconds to move the ball like 25 yards? Like, why are we doing that? Like, I understand we got good runs. Like, I'm not complaining about that. But what the heck is that play calling? And then we decided to kick that long field goal. Like, I'm just confused on what Drinkwitz and what we're supposed to do. Drew Pine, people wanted Drew Pine to start. Oh, Brady Cook, he's not good. He can't start. You get Drew Pine, and look what happens. Throws a pick. That ball was not even close to the receiver that he was intending to.
It's real simple what Missouri was doing on that drive. They had a quarterback that they were scared to death would turn the ball over and make it worse. I mean, that's it, because he had just done it on the drive before. So they get the ball back with 1:54 left. And it wasn't that they were running the ball. I understand running the ball. Like in a 2-minute drive, you run the ball until you get a first down, and then you start to go. But even once Missouri got a first down, they just sat there and took 30 seconds between plays. Like, they clearly were not attempting to score a touchdown because they didn't think they could. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. They didn't have any belief that they could move down the field and score 7 points with that quarterback. They were hoping to maybe get into range for a long field goal. But the primary objective on that drive was not to give Alabama the ball back and let them go up 20-0. That was going in 13-0 was going to be considered a victory for Missouri at that point. Fair or not, I mean, that's the way they called the game. It was pretty obvious. All right, Sean, let's go.
Yeah, hi, Gabe. This is Tiger Kais. I don't even know what the point of bringing Cook into this game was to begin with. They weren't going to get him outside of his capabilities, which was very little today. And then even with bringing in Pine, they still go conservative and not care about winning this game. I really think this coaching staff has got a lot of problems. And I don't know what the answer is, but we're stuck with them. So they got to improve. But since they didn't care about scoring at the end of the half, I don't give a rat's ass about this team in this game either.
So, look, the point of playing Brady Cook was very simple. It was their only chance. I mean, you guys saw it. You saw what happened when he was out of the game. And again, they were not great with him. And probably we're not going to win this game with him. Well, I'm not sure, because I don't think the ankle was that big. Like, he moved okay. He wasn't going to take off and run for 100 yards or anything, but he moved okay. He didn't look awful to me. The problem became when he hurt his hand, but like, Brady, at whatever percentage he was, 40, 60, 90, I don't know, he's their best option. It's kind of like the year that Blaine Gabbert played the entire year with the high ankle sprain and, frankly, maybe a concussion at times. Like, it didn't look great, but it was obvious. The coaching staff felt 70% of Blaine Gabbert was better than 100% of whoever else was there. Whatever percentage of Brady Cook was there today, that was their best option. And again, it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show. Like, you can be mad that there isn't a better option, but the solution to that game was not, don't play Brady Cook. All right, let's go.
What's up, Gabe? This is Josh calling back in once again from Rapid City, South Dakota. Hope you're doing well. Tough one. Mizzou loses. They also lose their starting quarterback, maybe even for the rest of the year, Brady Cook. They had zero chance after he went out, but they also didn't have much of a chance before he went out. And I understand Cook was injured, and that seems like an obvious statement. But the offense, Gabe, still looked the exact same as it has all year, even before the Cook injury. This is the same struggling offense we've watched the entire season. And I don't mean to kick on Cook while he's down, because if this is it for him, I mean, that's a tough way to go out. But, there's a lot of people who have been accused of being Drew Pine lovers and whatnot. And I don't think there were necessarily any Pine lovers. I just think it was people that wanted to see something different than Brady Cook. And we saw Drew Pine and he sucked. Okay, cool, whatever. You tried it out, but that's not exactly an endorsement of Brady Cook. And his tenure is going to go down as an interesting one because half the fan base was split on him the entire time he was here. But here's the thing, Gabe. I'm not really sure they're ever going to figure it out with him this year anyway. And I know you've been a big defender of him, I should say. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the offensive line hasn't been great this year. I get that argument. The receivers haven't been overwhelming this year. I get it. But, I look at Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt. I don't think Vanderbilt's offensive line is overwhelming other SEC teams up front, but their quarterback makes plays. And Brady Cook just wasn't making plays this year. I mean, that's what I see. That's the eye test. So, I don't know. Talk to me, Gabe. I'm feeling pretty depressed right now.
No, look, I agree. Brady hadn't been good this year. I throw him in there with everything else on the offense that hasn't been good enough this year. There's zero question. Diego Pavia is a better quarterback than Brady Cook. If that's the point, you will get zero argument from me. Like, were they 10-2 with Brady Cook, 11-1 with Brady Cook? No, something on this offense is broken. And again, my only argument has been, I think people wanted to convince themselves, well, it's just the quarterback that's broken. We just need a different quarterback and things will be. No, it's so much more than that. It's everything. It's the play calling. It's the offensive line. It's the receivers. It's all broken, guys. This has been an awful offensive season, start to finish, outside of one quarter against Auburn. That's really about it. Because even at Vandy, they scored, 20 in regulation against Vandy. That wasn't a good offensive game. Wasn't a good offensive game against BC, really. I mean, they haven't been good on offense all year. There's zero question. And I just want to get this username on the screen. I can't say it, but the offense looked garbage before Cook left the game. They also looked like a total trash fire after it. That's it. They were bad with him in the game, and they were worse with him out of the game. That's it. That sums up the offense today. All right, Sean, let's go to the next call. We got another one? Sean, I need a voicemail, my guy.
I think we're done with Drew Pine, period.
Good call. Let's go to the next one.
I mean, maybe they can come back 13-0. I don't know. But it's just, this is the life of a Mizzou fan right here. This stuff right here. But hopefully we can come back and make something happen. So what do you think, Gabe? What does the rest of the season look like after this loss? And what does it look like after this win, But I'm sure it's going to be a loss.
Yeah. Narrator, it was a loss. Doesn't look great, man. I mean, 7-5, 8-4. I said before the season, anything less than 9-3, if health wasn't a factor, they'd have to answer. Well, health is now a factor. But yeah, 7-5, 8-4. I'm somewhere there. All right, let's go to another one.
Hi, I'm Scott in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Graduated from Mizzou. Been following Mizzou since the last time they actually beat Alabama. Two big questions I have is, why don't we have a better backup quarterback, especially when we know that our starting quarterback has been somewhat injury prone 2 of the 3 years that he's been playing? And secondly, when are the blowouts going to be over for Mizzou? We've got a new coach now. He's been here 5 years. We keep thinking, the days of Bob Stoll and all the blowouts and Woody Woodenhofer are over with, and we still keep getting blowout. Is that ever going to end?
Well, I mean, no, you're still going to get blown out at some point going forward. I mean, teams get blown out. It happens. So it's not going to permanently end ever. Today was bad. No question. All right, let's keep going.
Hi, Gabe. I was wrong last week when I called in to comment about us going to the playoffs. That's over and done with. I'm going to go in my room and cry now.
I don't mean to laugh, but I don't know what else you do, guys. I love the tone of voice and some of the calls. Let's keep going.
What's up, Gabe? I mean, I just can't even understand how you hold Alabama to 6 points. Sure, you have that bomb play because your secondary probably watches the line after everything, but I just don't understand how this offense goes from scoring 30 points per game to just flatlining and putting up a donut in the first half. I really don't get it at all. What's up, Gabe? I mean, I just can't even understand how you hold Alabama.
All right, so that's the thing. That's the thing that I think should be most frustrating about today. That Alabama team was begging you to beat them. Begging you. It was 6-0 with 5 minutes left in the first half. They were begging to lose that game. They did not come out like a team trying to, like their hair was on fire, trying to prove a bunch of things wrong. They didn't. They came out like a team that didn't really care all that much and let you hang around. Like as bad as Missouri was for 24 minutes, it was 6-0. That game was there. If it is the most beatable Alabama team we have seen since 2007. And that's where the frustration is, I think, is that in a season, on a day where the best program in college football looked very beatable, Missouri didn't even put any pressure on them. And that's the thing. Freeway Jarod, everybody here, sad, man. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you hanging out with us like you always do. But trust me, there's a lot more sad than mad. The A&M game was anger. This is just people are sad. It just, what the hell? How did this happen? You know, there's not even that much anger. It's just they're with you, Jarod. Everybody just feels bad about this. Let's go next voicemail, Sean.
Hey, besides Luther and Theo, who do you see playing for the NFL next year on our team?
Johnny Walker could be a pro. Armand Mimbo could be a pro. I saw Jim Nagy, the Senior Bowl executive director. I think it looked like he was at the game today. Tweeted that if Connor Tollison wanted to leave, he'd be one of the most athletic centers in the league. It'd be kind of a scheme thing, but he could be a pro. Christian Williams, maybe. Chris McClellan, I don't think is necessarily there right now, but he looks like he could be a pro. Zion Young, definitely not a pro after this year. He's only a sophomore. Down the road, a pro. Can Dalen Cornell find a role? Maybe. He might have to be more of a safety. I'm not sure. He has like NFL linebacker size, but and that's the thing. There's a lot of guys that you can see playing in the pros on this team, but when they're playing other teams with pros, they don't look as good. All right, let's keep going.
I've never listened to the Power Mizzou. I haven't bought it. But has there been a single article or report on Drinkwitz being a good game manager? I can't remember a game in my lifetime that Drink has managed a game correctly. This guy does not know football. He knows how to recruit. I'll give him that. He does not know how to coach football.
I mean, I don't agree. I would encourage you to get Power Mizzou. We'd love to have you. I don't agree that he doesn't understand football. His team looked real bad today. He makes some mistakes. They all make some mistakes. I think he understands football. Probably knows more about it than I do, would be my guess. Okay, let's go ahead.
Well, it's more fun now than when I was in school, which was 2016 through 2020. And we lost a couple hard ones last year, lost a couple hard ones this year. Hopefully we go 10-2, back-to-back years of that. Maybe we win the bowl game and go 11-2. Objectively, back-to-back years of that would be pretty good for Mizzou. We've had some pretty good players the last couple of years, but I have no idea what it's going to look like going forward. So hope it gets. Hopefully we have a good team next year. I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I don't mean to like
than when I was in
drag everything down, guys. I mean, they are 17-4 in their last 21 games. It's been a good run, no question. But again, like we knew since the beginning of this year, if you didn't make the playoff, it was going to feel like a missed opportunity because it was all there. You had the All-American receiver and you had a third-year starting quarterback and you went and spent all this money in the portal and you rebuilt the defense and the schedule. I know you guys got sick of hearing about the schedule, but it was, look, in hindsight, the schedule is the number one reason anybody talked about Missouri being in the playoff. If we had looked at a schedule before the season that had Tennessee, LSU, A&M, I don't know, pick South Carolina, would anybody have said, hey, this is a playoff team? No, we would have said, hey, it's probably 8-9 win team. The schedule is the number one reason we talked about the playoff. And I've heard a number of people say this over the last few weeks. When your best argument for a team is, well, the schedule looks pretty easy, you're not making an argument for that team. And I'm hand raised. I was wrong. A bunch of us were wrong. When your argument is, well, it looks like most of the teams they play aren't very good, that's not saying anything about your actual team. They've played two good teams, maybe three. Again, I'll give Vandy being a good team. I don't know what the final score of the Texas game was. I know they were in it. I'll give Vandy being a good team, and they managed to beat Vandy. But the other two good teams, they've lost 75-10. They're not a good team. They're whatever. They're not an awful team. They're better than they've been at times. But they are not like, they're like fringe top 25, maybe. Not fringe top 10, not fringe playoff. All right, Sean, I'm going to keep calling for voicemails, assuming we still have them. Just give me a heads up when we don't.
Gabe, what are the chances that Mizzou mails it into an 8-4 type season? It seems like after this,
I think
every
we've done
hope.
this one. Yeah. Yeah. Still as possible as it was like 4 minutes ago. Sean, just go ahead.
Hey, Gabe. Well, that was pretty bad. Sitting here at a tailgate. I don't think I've ever left the Mizzou game early, but that was it. So, fun road trip. Don't think that offense has what it takes to compete. Clearly they don't. So, need to start thinking of a new direction there. At least the scenery was pretty nice. There was a lot of stepdads in khakis. Unfortunately, it was a urinal situation and not a trough situation, but so there's just been disappointments left and right, but be blessed.
I love the start that, hey, that was pretty bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Totally agree. Sounded like another sad caller. Misery loves company.
Hey, Gabe. Jacob from Omaha. Just calling to say it's been a heck of a ride with Brady Cook. Hopefully nobody has anything bad to say about him, man. What a warrior. It's tough, but hopefully we enjoy the rest of the year. Enjoy every moment you got left with him, with Luther, and just hope you have some fun the rest of the year. Kick OU's butt. Hope he's back for that. But if not, can't question the man now. It's tough. MIZ.
Yeah, look, Brady's, if last week was the best, then it's pretty good, right? He's done a lot here. I think the end result is going to be, seems like left something on the table, and like, he's not the best quarterback who's ever played here. Nobody questions the heart, the effort, and what he's given to this team and this program, but hey, he's the quarterback for a team that has underachieved, and so that's part of it too.
Hey, Gabe. With Brady out, with what looks like the rest of the year, with a broken hand, I'm assuming, do we just not... What happened? Why don't we have a young, up-and-coming quarterback that we could, put in the position, get some experience, and finish out the rest of the season? Instead,
it's because he had Tommy John surgery. Like, that was your young up-and-coming quarterback. That's the answer. All right, Sean, do me a favor. If you can find a voicemail from Tiger Terry, throw that in there. Let me know if we have that. If we don't, I feel like the voicemails are starting to all go down the same path. So if Tiger Terry called in and we have that, everybody wants Tiger Terry to be a part of the show, and just start playing it and I'll shut up. If we don't have it, send me a message, or I'm going to assume we don't have it, and that's fine. But I feel like we've kind of covered it, guys. This is one of those that I don't know what there is to say. Like, it was really bad, and we know it was really bad, and that game was over in the second quarter, and it just kind of got worse. And again, there's not a lot of anger. It's just everybody's bummed out about how it went today and what it means for the rest of the season. And I'm right there with you. Look, we all started this thing hoping that we'd get a chance to see something that had never been done here. And we're not going to get to see that. Now, we might get to see 9-3, 10-2. We might get a bowl game in Florida on New Year's. Like, there's still things out there. You're going to find out a little bit about this team, like how much that matters to them. And if it still matters to them, then great. They can go get it. I mean, a lot of things to fix, including body parts on the starting quarterback, no question. But there are still things out there. But the big thing's not out there. And yeah, that sucks. And I think that's fine to have tonight and tomorrow just be a little bit of a grieving period. And yeah, this sucks. And it's not what we thought it was going to be. That doesn't mean it's awful. Doesn't mean the program's done. Doesn't mean Kirby Moore sucks. Doesn't mean Eli Drinkwitz doesn't understand football. Doesn't mean any of that. But it does mean that this year isn't going to quite be what you thought it was going to be. And that's just kind of how it goes. I want to thank everybody that hung out here with us for the live show. If you did, before you leave, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. If you're listening on the podcast later, that's great too. Share it on social media, leave good reviews, all of those things that help us reach more people. Obviously no post-game show next week because there is no game next week, but we'll still have plenty of stuff coming up on the site tonight. Plenty of stuff. We'll be back with you Monday night on State of the Tigers and have stuff all week long. Basketball season started today. Drew King has some stuff up on the site about that. So all kinds of content coming. Look, like I said at the beginning of the show, you can't just quit being a fan. You still care. You're still going to read. You still want to know why. We're still going to hang out and talk about it all. So we hope you read all our stuff tonight. And we hope you do it while you've got a nice cold Yuengling. Always appreciate the folks at Yuengling sponsoring our pregame and postgame shows this year. America's oldest brewery. You can visit them at yuengling.com. Hey, you can go visit them in Tampa or in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, too. I've been to the one in Tampa. It's a great brewery tour. So if you happen to be out there, might have some free time and say, I don't know, January, maybe you want to go down to Florida, have some warm weather, take a brewery tour. But support our friends at Yuengling. They have supported us all season long here on the live post-game show. So appreciate you guys hanging out. All kinds of stuff coming up on the site. Thanks, guys. We will talk to you next time.